Hey guys, NosferKitty here, and I am back with more Reanimation Scheme. And we left off here with our friend Larissa having just showed up. She is apparently a life mage, which I guess that's obviously the opposite of a death mage. I have no idea what a life mage does. I'm gonna assume that they're more like a healer rather than a necromancer. I suppose we'll find out later, and I'm sure that there's more lore and stuff on the Kickstarter page, or, you know, there's probably a whole lot of stuff, you know, information and things that they're giving out over there, so I highly suggest you go check that out. We've also just learned that our father is probably going to be at the headquarters, which apparently we did not think about, and for whatever reason, we don't want to see him. I don't know why. Though, I mean, I guess I can't. There's probably a reason, and so I won't blame her. And we're just gonna pick it right back up. Looking around me in fear of finding a certain familiar face, I take a few steps backwards, ducking behind Aldrius's tall frame as much as possible. Have you seen him? Yep. I would have gone up to him to say hi, but I don't think he knows who I am.
Larissa.
She merely giggles at me, unfazed by the tone of my voice. Her expression abruptly melts into horror as we hear another voice calling Larissa's name.
Oh dear, Elinari.
Help me! I've been found! A tall, elegant woman comes striding across the room towards us, her lips pursed in disapproval as she stares at Larissa. There you are! I've been looking all over for you. You really need to stop running off at the first chance you get, Larissa. You have responsibilities to uphold. I raised you to be better than this.
Oh.
I didn't run off, Mother. I was just saying hello to my friends who just arrived. At her words, Larissa's mother looks at us. The frown on her face eases a little at the sight of Aldrius, and she nods in greeting at him. Aldrius, it's good to see you again.
I'm sorry.
Good morning, Miss Yirith. I'm sorry for keeping Larissa. It's not your fault. I know my own daughter. If it wasn't you, it'd be someone else. Larissa's mother glances at me with an arched eyebrow, and I mumble a greeting. Larissa steps between us and introduces me to her mother, who then tips her head slightly in my direction as acknowledgement. It's nice to meet you, Miss Talisko. She turns back to her daughter, the crease between her brows returning. Larissa, the meeting will begin soon. We should start getting prepared.
No way.
Mother, the meeting doesn't start for almost another half hour. That's not too soon. Or that's not soon. Larissa's mother sighs, closing her eyes briefly. Aldrius takes the opportunity to clear his throat quietly and pipe up, rubbing his chin.
Sorry.
Sorry for interrupting, but can I ask a question? You said there's a meeting. Did the chief commander call a meeting already?
Oh.
Whoops! Did I forget to tell you? The first meeting to discuss the situation is at 10. All death mages are supposed to attend.
Thank you.
I understand. Thank you for letting me know, Rissa.
Right.
Right. I remember the mage reminded me to attend the meeting later when I was registering my arrival. How wonderful. I literally just arrived and I'm already expected to attend a meeting. Theon, at least give me a moment to sit down and catch my breath.
You know.
Well, there's still some time before the meeting begins. You can rest for a bit in your room. Oh, right! What's your room number so I can drop by sometime? At the mention of my room, I scowl, my frustration returning. I still haven't gotten one yet. They said all the guest rooms were occupied, so now they're trying to find some mages who have a place of residence in the capital to give up their assigned room at the headquarters. I've been waiting here for a decade. Larissa lets out a small hum in sympathy and reaches out to pat my arm.
Oh.
Why don't you just come back later after the meeting? If you want, you can just leave your bags in my room for now. Larissa's mother frowns, clearly not appreciative of her daughter's idea. Before she can object, another mage approaches her with some documents in hand. She glances at Larissa before stepping aside to discuss the matter with the mage in low voices. Granted a temporary reprieve, Larissa angles her body to make sure her mother cannot see her face and pulls a pleading face at me, mouthing the words, "Save me!"
Well...
I glance at Aldrius, unsure of whether to go with Larissa's suggestion.
Aldi?
What do you think, Aldi? Should we just leave with Risa for now?
I'm sorry.
Oh, Callie, I'm sorry. I don't think I'll be able to join the two of you. I know I said I'll keep you company while you wait, but I didn't know there would be a meeting so soon, and I would like to head to the meeting early for preparations.
Oh, dear Elinari.
Not you too, Aldi. Shush! Don't say it so loudly. My mother's going to hear you and scold me again. I really don't want to hear it for the 100th time about how I should learn more from your example. What kind of preparations would you even need to do anyway? Aldrius ducks his head and gives a small, sheepish chuckle.
Sorry.
You know how I am.
Oh.
Ignore his madness, Callie. So, have you decided what you're going to do now? Choices. I'm getting a... I don't know. Let's see. I kind of want to go to the meeting with Aldrius, but I feel like that'd be weird. But at the same time, I don't really want to go to my... This might prove interesting. I want to do this. As much as I'd like to skip the waiting, I'm not sure that I'd trust the mage in charge of assigning rooms not to mess up again.
Right.
I'm just gonna stay here and wait for the mage to come back with my room key. Aldrius nods in agreement while Larissa makes a small face at me. Taking things so seriously? Where's the fun in that? I'm ashamed of you. I roll my eyes at her, heaving my bag further up on my shoulder. I got hiccups, hang on. If only your mother heard that. At the mention of her mother, she whips her head around to make sure her mother is still preoccupied. Letting out a sigh of relief, she lowers her voice to a whisper.
Okay.
I'm gonna find... Is it... Okay, it's an I. Fiore's, and hide in her room for sanctuary for a bit. Don't tell my mother where I went. Oh, pretty! She murmurs a string of unknown words under her breath. A light blue sigil appears in the air before dissipating. Even though I can't see any change, I can faintly feel the air flowing quicker and stirring around her.
Catch you later.
She turns and makes a mad dash for one of the hallways, her speed twice as fast as usual. Did she just use an air magic spell to run faster from her mother? I think so. He glances in the direction where Larissa fled, and he shakes his head with slight amusement.
I'm sorry.
Well, I suppose I should go now. I'm sorry for not keeping you company like I said I would. I lift my shoulders in a slight shrug, wincing at the crushing weight of my bags. Ziana, did Sebastian pack all the items in the house into our bags?
No.
It's fine. I'll see you later, Aldi. Aldrius nods and murmurs a goodbye before walking on ahead down the hallway. Rubbing my face with my palms, I lean back against the front desk again with a sigh. Bored beyond belief, I drum my fingers on the table, praying silently to Ziana for the mage to return soon.
Miss Talisko?
You're still here, Miss Talisko. I look up to find Lord Waven in front of me once again, eyeing me with a hint of surprise.
Lord Waven.
And you're here again, Lord Waven. He arches an eyebrow and presses his lips into a thin line, appearing unamused by my mocking retort. Where is Miss Piquero? I stare at him blankly. It takes me a few seconds to realize that he's referring to the mage at the front desk earlier.
Well...
The mage? She stepped away for a bit.
Yes.
I can see that myself. He sighs with narrow eyes and repeats his question. Noting his annoyance, I decide not to test his patience further. She said she can't contact the mages who live in the capital herself, so she left to find her superior who can do so. The crease between Lord Waven's eyebrows deepens, and he slides his gaze towards the desk. When will she be back? How am I supposed to know that? Holding back a sigh, I mumble an answer sarcastically, hoping he would take the hint and leave me alone.
Sorry.
But I'm not skilled in divination, my lord. He taps a finger against his arm, likely considering his options. Then he walks behind the front desk and pulls out one of the drawers, rummaging through it.
What in the name of Ziana?
My low exclamation of surprise escapes me before I can stop it. Upon hearing my words, Lord Waven lifts his head and simply regards me with a level stare, as if daring me to stop him.
Right.
Sorry, pretend that I'm not here. Please carry on. You spoiled little brat! He returns to his search, checking drawer after drawer. I'm tempted to ask what he's looking for, but I think better of it after seeing his face. Ziana, this man redefines the meaning of standoffish. How did he climb his way to the top of the authority with a personality like this? A few minutes later, I hear another irritated sigh come from Lord Waven. It seems like he's unable to find what he needs, and he straightens his back and closes the drawers with perhaps a little more force than necessary. When she returns, inform her that I wish to meet with her immediately. Who am I, his personal messenger? Why does he expect me to deliver his words for him? Why don't you leave a written note at this desk? She'll see it when she comes back. A scowl crosses his face, but he takes my advice and locates an empty parchment on the desk. He picks up the quill and pauses before writing. I strain my eyes to see what he's writing, but from where I'm standing, I can only make out the elegant loops and smooth lines. As he writes, his sour expression melts into one of concentration, which makes his face almost appear softer. Despite my less than favorable impression of him, I have to admit that Lord Waven has clearly been blessed by the 12 deities in many ways, including his physical appearance. I don't particularly, I can't speak for her, but I'm not personally fond of blondes. That's not true, but still. What a pity such looks have been wasted on a man so unapproachable. Quickly losing interest in watching Lord Waven compose his note, I go back to the exciting task of counting on the number of tiles on the floor as I wait. Out of nowhere, someone shoves past me, almost pushing me to the ground. My pent-up anger from all the events in the past 2 days flares up immediately, and I snap my head up to glare at the person.
Hey!
Watch it! Or if you want a magic duel outside, I'm happy to take you on. I'm ignored completely as the person tosses something on the front desk, which slides off the surface and falls to the floor. I glance at now crumpled pile of... Oh, there's a typo. I glance at the now crumpled pile of papers, easily recognizing it as the Nallenshire crier. What's this, huh? What the crier said. Is it true? You telling me my wife's reanimation rights is no more? The person bellows, slamming his fist down on the front desk. Behind the desk, Lord Waven looks up slowly and sets down the quill, his face hard as stone. Who is this newcomer? Does he know who he's speaking to this way? I don't know whether to call this courage or foolishness. I shuffle slightly to the side so I can get a better look at this newcomer's face. He's not familiar to me at all, but it doesn't say much since I only know a handful of mages in Nallenshire. until I realize that I can't sense the faintest hint of magic essence surrounding him. He's not even a mage? What is he doing here? I gave good money for this. 50 gold pieces. 50! To see my wife again if death takes her before me. Been waiting and waiting and waiting. Now I hear there ain't gonna be any reanimation rites at all. I peek at Lord Waven out of the corner of my eye. Judging by his stormy expression, I expect him to explode at any moment. But he takes a deep breath and replies with an eerie level of calmness and coldness. My condolences for your loss. This does nothing to assuage the newcomer's anger. His voice raises further in volume, and he slams his fist on the desk again, causing a few books to clatter onto the floor. That's all you're going to say, eh? When will my wife be reanimated? Answers! I want them now! Lord Waven's eyes narrow, his expression darkening further, and I have to try to keep my gleeful amusement from showing on my face. I wonder if he regrets getting behind that counter and being mistaken for a death mage assigned to manning the front desk. Definitely what he deserves for intimidating me into not stopping him.
My apologies.
For the delay. The reanimators will be in contact once there's further news. Eh? No! You think you could just brush me off? You lot are rich, acting all high and mighty just because you can make some glowing colored circles, as if you lot would even survive without us. He begins to go on a tirade, ranting about mages and occasionally throwing out insults. My amusement ebbs, replaced by irritation once more. Regardless of how I feel about my job, I'm still a mage, and I don't appreciate being slighted like this to my face. By now, this man's loud voice and taunting words have attracted many looks from around the room. Some appear outraged and start heading in our direction, likely to throw this man out, but upon noticing Lord Waven's presence, their footsteps falter. The corner of Lord Waven's lips curve upward into what appears to be a smile, but somehow it makes him look even more intimidating. The commanding aura around Lord Waven expands and fills the room, and the person takes an involuntary step back as he trails off into silence. You are not the only one who has lost a loved one recently. It does not excuse your unpleasant behavior. Leave before the reanimators deny your service completely. With one last icy glance, Lord Waven stalks away. The person looks even more affronted, as if he couldn't believe that Lord Waven just walked out on him. He turns to me, but I cut him off as soon as he starts to speak.
No.
Don't look at me! I don't know anything, and I can't help you. The only advice I can give you is to take his suggestion and leave. You may have angered half the mages in the building with your grand speech. He blinks and glances around the room, noting the displeased stares he's receiving. He looks like he still wants to argue, his hands curling into fists. But in the end, he just stomps towards the doors, muttering under his breath. The door slams shut behind him, and some of the tension in the room fades. Before long, chatter among the groups resume, and so does my waiting. I can't help but think back on what just happened between Lord Waven and the man, especially what he said before he left. That was the longest thing I've heard him say so far. He must have been quite upset. Though, one of his statements seemed a bit odd. You're not the only one who has lost a loved one recently? Something about the way he said it makes me wonder if there's something more he meant by it. Bored, I idly ponder the question a while longer, until I see the mage from the front desk return with an apologetic smile.
Finally.
I'm very sorry for the wait. I should have your room ready very soon. Another 15 minutes later, I finally received the key to my room. Fortunately, the mage who was previously assigned the room hadn't moved any of her belongings in there, so I didn't have to wait any further before I could use the room. I don't know how to read. Ooh, that mirror is so pretty! Oh my god! The guest room is bigger than I expected, and it looks like it has everything I need. Even a tall magic mirror for any communication needs. I nodded approval, pleased with the authorities' preparations. It's even got a kitty basket! I make use of the bit of time I have before the meeting to unpack my bags as much as possible. By the time I find my way to the meeting, the council room is already packed with mages. Ducking into the room as quietly as possible, I look around for Aldrius or Larissa.
Hi!
Callie! Over here! Thankfully, as soon as I hear Larissa's hushed call of my name, I did not do that hushed at all, did I? I turn to find her sitting in one of the back rows on the second floor, waving her arm at me and pointing to the empty seat next to her. I quickly make my way over to her, apologizing to the mages that I have to squeeze past. The dragon mirrors are so pretty! Don't you need to sit at the front on the ground floor if you're a representative?
No way.
No way! I'm not sitting over there. I won't even be able to breathe without 50 people judging me for doing it the wrong way. They'll be just fine without me. Did you get your room? I assume so, since I don't see you carrying your bags with you anymore.
Yes.
Yes, I did. Took far too long, but it was figured out in the end. We soon settled down in our seats. Larissa provides the truth of her claims, or proves the truth of her claims about having many friends among the death mages. Excuse me, let's try that again. We soon settled down in our seats. Larissa proves the truth of her claims about having many friends among the death mages, as the one sitting next to her seems pleasantly surprised to see her and strikes up a conversation. Meanwhile, I let my eyes flutter shut. I would take the opportunity to sneak in a quick nap, but it's difficult to fall asleep with all the noises in the background. Right as I'm internally complaining about how long it is taking for the meeting to begin, the room quietens without warning, save for some lone whispers that stand out in the sudden silence. Startled, I look up with a frown. I see Javid Kivatos, the chief commander of the Imperial Necromancy Authority, heading to the front of the room. Walking next to him is Lord Waven, who looks like he's calmed down from the incident earlier at the front desk. He lifts his chin slightly, staring out into the crowd in front of him. Even from this distance, I can feel the coldness surrounding him like an aura. Lord Waven clears his throat, the sound immediately drawing everyone's attention. They wait for the last bit of murmuring to die down before Kivatos takes a step forward and addresses the audience, or the sitting audience. And with that, we're going to stop, and we'll get to the meeting in the next part. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, or any game suggestions, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section below, and I'll see what I can do about playing some games. And I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye-bye.